Good morning. My name is Bill Fritz. I am the forum leader of the forum that we hold each Sunday morning at 9:30 a.m. at Fellowship Bible Church, Middleburg, Florida. Welcome.
Let's begin today by reading Daniel 12, verses 5 through 7. I've entitled this, How Long Will the Time of Trouble Be? Verse 5. Then I, Daniel, looked, and there stood two others, one on this riverbank and the other on that riverbank. And one said to the man clothed in linen, who was above the water of the river, How long shall the fulfillment of these wonders be? Then I heard the man clothed in linen, who was above the waters of the river, when he held up his right hand and his left hand to heaven, and swore by him who lives forever, that it shall be for a time, times, and a half time. And when the power of the holy people has been completely shattered, all these things shall be finished. Verse 5. Two others, one on this riverbank and the other on that riverbank. This brings us back to where Daniel was reported on the riverbank in chapter 10. Let's take a moment and read the verses in chapter 10, verses 4 through 6. And in the 24th day of the first month, as I, by the side of the great river, which is the Euphrates, then I lifted up mine eyes and looked, and behold, a certain man clothed in linen, whose loins were girded with fine gold and uphaz. His body also was like a beryl, and his face as the appearance of lightning, and his eyes as lamps of fire, and his arms and his feet like the color to polished brass, and the voice of his words like the voice of multitudes. In my opinion, these verses are speaking of Jesus. And why do I say that? We would have to refer to Revelation in order to determine who or what these heavenly beings might be. Let's do some comparing here between Daniel 10, Daniel 12, in Revelation 1, verses 14 through 18, where we have a detailed description. 14, his head and his hair were like white wool, like snow, and his eyes like the flames of fire. His feet like burnished bronze, when it has been made to glow in the furnace. And his voice was like a sound of many waters. 16. In his right hand he held 7 stars, and out of his mouth came a sharp two-edged sword, and his face was like the sun shining in its strength. 17. When I saw him, I fell at his feet like a dead man, and he placed his right hand on me, saying, Do not be afraid. I am the first and the last, and the living one, and I was dead, and behold, I am alive forever, and I have the keys of death and of Hades. Well, it's quite clear here. In matter of fact, the version that I'm reading from right now, which is the Schofield, he is definitely Jesus. He is a heavenly being that was died and now is alive again. That can only be Jesus. And this description, less the white hair, is almost identical to what we see in Daniel. So I'm inclined to believe, after doing this kind of research, that the two angelic beings, one probably an archangel, let's assume it was Gabriel for a moment, but the other one, the one that was standing over the waters of the river Euphrates, was undoubtedly Jesus. According to the description, there are three heavenly beings at Daniel's seeing. There's one we can assume is an angel on one side of the river, and another we consider an angel on the other side of the river. But there's yet a third being over the river, and this being is described quite accurately